Welcome everyone, I'm your host, Jessica Barron with Housing and Residential Education at the beautiful University of South Florida in Tampa. Our motto, best place to live, best place to work, best place to learn. Today's live chat is all about living learning communities. Living learning communities, or LLCs, are spaces on campus that have a special emphasis on an academic major or area of interest. By living in a living learning community, you will have the opportunity to make friends with similar majors and interests, connect with faculty right in your residence hall, and enjoy experiences designed especially for you. Does that sound like something you or your student, for all of our families watching this afternoon, might be interested in? Then this show is for you. We are here to answer your questions, so send them in. If you have a question, just type it in the comments and we will answer you in real time. Well, let's go ahead and meet today's LLC experts. Joining us from the Assignments Office is a very special expert. He's the Associate Director for Operations and Outreach here at Housing and Residential Education. And he's responsible for managing occupancy, technology, and assigning all of our residents on campus. The one and only Dave Kloiber.
Hi Jessica, how are you?
I'm doing great, Dave. Thank you for being here once again.
It's great to be back.
Our second expert tonight is the Program Director for Academic Initiatives and Living Learning Communities. Let's welcome the one and only Neldy Nunez. Neldy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Jessica. It's so good to see you today.
It's good to see you too. As a reminder, today is all about you, our future bulls and families. If you have questions, send them in so we can answer them right here with our experts. But first, let's take a short break to highlight all of the different LLCs we offer on campus. We'll be back right after this.
Enrich your experience in a living learning community. Become tomorrow's business leader. Explore a myriad of career opportunities in education. Get in-hall academic support so you can excel. The place to live for high-achieving students. Achieve success through peer support. Maintain your competitive edge. Explore a broad range of career opportunities. Connect with other STEM majors. Immerse yourself in the field of advertising. Use ASL in daily life. Prepare for a commission in the U.S. Armed Forces. Welcoming all LGBTQ+ and allied students. Share in the residential experience with other SSS students. Apply in the housing portal on our website and prepare to live the Bull's life.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jessica Barron, and we're here talking living learning communities with Dave Kloiber and Neldy Nunez. So let's get right into it. Dave, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do here at USF.
Well, I'm David Kloiber. I'm the Associate Director for Operations and Outreach here at USF. And I'm responsible for occupancy management, so who lives in the buildings and where we're putting all of them. And also for all the technology needs that housing requires to make everything happen here at USF.
Neldy, could you also introduce who you are and what you do here at USF?
Sure. So my name is Neldy Nunez, and I serve as the Program Director for Academic Initiatives and Living Learning Communities. In that role, I'm charged with ensuring the academic success of all of our residential students by connecting them to important campus resources that can add to their academic success, such as tutoring, mentoring, strong faculty interactions through our Faculty Fellows and Faculty in Residence program, and to provide oversight to our 13 living learning communities on campus.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to have you both here. Dave, I'm going to go ahead and start questions with you.
All right.
What steps do students need to complete to prepare to live on campus?
Sure. Well, once a student is admitted to university, they can log into the housing portal and complete a housing application for the term that they're looking to live here for. And once the application is complete, they'll be billed a $50 application fee, which they can then go onto Oasis and pay. And then they need to ensure that they have their immunizations submitted to Student Health and approved, and also to register for orientation. Once they complete all 4 of those steps, then they can go and log into the housing portal and actually select the room they're going to live in for next year.
Nodi, can you tell us what an LLC is here at USF?
Yeah, so a living learning community is a program designed for students to be living on the same floor, depending on their career interests or academic major or a special interest that they might want to learn about or take part in. So the whole concept of a living learning community is to make living on campus feel a little bit smaller by being in a cohort with students that have a shared passion or interest, and also the opportunity to connect with faculty one-on-one, receive in-hall academic advising, and go on amazing field trips that connect your career idea to the reality of your life beyond USF.
Great. So that brings me to my next question. Dave, you were talking about how to live on campus. What about LLC students? Are there any additional steps that LLC residents need to complete to live on campus?
Yes, there are. Obviously, we don't know who is interested in what, so there's an application for each LLC. And so our students can log into the housing portal, go to programs and events, select the LLC application link, and then apply for one or more LLCs that they're interested in living in. And then once they submit their application, in either from a few days to maybe a week or so, they should get a response about where they are in that process. And if they're accepted, then, hey, they might get assigned very quickly thereafter.
Dave, can LLC students select their rooms?
Well, if you're in the Honors College as an LLC student, yes, you can go in and actually select a room in the Honors College LLC. But for all of our other LLCs, they'll be assigned by their program coordinator for that LLC.
Dave, we have a viewer named Alex who is asking, how are you sorting through giving out room assignments? For example, alphabetically, etc.
Well, remember in the beginning of the show, I said that our students will log in and actually assign themselves to a room. So our office doesn't actually complete the assignment for the student unless the student waits so long that we're getting close to the beginning of the term, and then we'll reach out to that student and say, hey, you haven't selected yet. Are you still interested in housing before we assign you? And if they say yes, or they don't respond, and so we're going to act because they've already acted by doing the application, then we'll assign them. And we do that generally in the date of when the application was completed.
Dave, let's talk about roommate groups.
Sure.
Can LLC students select their roommates? Can they form roommate groups?
They can request roommates through their programs because they need to have their roommate actually part of the LLC. It gets a little bit more tricky, and so we encourage those students who are interested in living together in an LLC to contact their program coordinator and or contact livinglearning@usf.edu via email and indicate this is our preference, and we do the best that we can to get people together.
Great. We have another viewer named Dylan, and this is a question that either of you are free to chime in on. Are LLCs available in suite styles?
Yeah, most of our LLCs are actually in suite style. We have a few that have traditional style rooms available, but predominantly almost all of our LLCs are in suite style.
Nodi, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
No, agreed.
Awesome. Okay. Also, Omar, a viewer, asks, will I be too late to apply to the Bulls Business LLC by June 1st? What are the deadlines that students should be aware of?
Ideally, Omar, if you know you want to live in the Bulls business community, go ahead and submit your application as soon as possible. We will be receiving applications up to about June 1st. Our priority review of applications will start on May 15th.
Wonderful. And actually, we have a video regarding the Business LLC. So let's take a short break and take a look at that video. But don't go anywhere because we'll be right back after this.
The name of our LLC is the Bulls Business Community. The LLC has been designed for incoming freshmen who have an interest in business and who want to start with their professional development from the time they step on campus.
See, everyone believes that going to college is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but the LLC elevates that experience because it brings you closer to people who are like-minded, who have the same dreams and ambitions, and are on the same career path as you are.
Living in the LLC is a great experience. This is my second year now, and you meet a lot of great people. It's just a great opportunity that I don't think you can receive anywhere else.
There are a variety of programs designed just for Bulls Business Community students, including corporate tours, etiquette dinners, we have a mentorship program, and all of it is designed to help them excel professionally and individually.
The Bulls Business Community is very unique It is a place for our students to begin their professional development so that upon graduation they should have great jobs.
The experience of living in an LLC was not limited to just the etiquette dinners and the networking opportunities. It was because here I built lifelong friendships.
You really build a network of business professionals so that after graduation you have a variety of people that you can reach out to.
My expectations going into the business community were that I was just going to meet people with similar interests as me in the form of business, but it's really so much more. You get a lot of career readiness and you get to meet a lot of really great people that I wouldn't have met anywhere else on campus.
Welcome back. I'm Jessica Barron, and we're asking our experts everything LLCs. Let's jump right back into the questions. Dave, let's go ahead and start with you again.
Okay.
Can students apply for more than one living learning community at the same time?
They definitely can. It's really important to note that, as Neldy said earlier, applying early is really important, not just for housing, but also for the LLCs. Last year, or this current year that we're in right now, just over 13% of our students that live in housing are actually participating in LLC. And next year, we hope to increase that number to almost 16%. So 1 out of every 6 students could be participating in LLC. So it goes very quickly. They want to apply soon.
Those are great numbers to hear, though. That means it must be a really great experience that so many students are applying for. Dave, I've heard that the LLCs, and you mentioned it, fill up really fast. Are there any LLCs that are already completely full? And this can go for either of you if you want to chime in.
I'm going to give that one to my wonderful colleague here because she can answer that better than I can.
Yes, so good point with that. Currently, we already know that the pre-nursing living learning community will probably be full within the first week of May. In addition to the rising health professionals living learning community, they are completely full. And we are on target to having the Zimmerman advertising program community fill up pretty quickly, and the engineering living learning community along with ROTC. So if you heard me mention any of the communities that you're looking to apply for and you have not submitted an application, please go ahead and submit this as soon as possible. The other thing that I want everybody to keep in mind is, although we may be full, we do waitlist students on a pretty regular basis if we have not assigned them by June 15th. So go ahead and submit your LC application, and don't worry so much right now on whether it's full or not. You will get a response whether you were accepted into the LC and will be assigned, or if you were waitlisted. You can also email livinglearning@usf.edu if you have any questions about a particular community and how many spaces we have left.
Neldy, for anyone just joining us, what can you tell us about what an LLC is and how many we have here at USF?
Yes. So a Living Learning Community is a program designed to have students connect with others and their peers that have a similar interest, academic major, or career pathway to follow. One of our mottos within the Living Learning program is that there's no better way to live something, to learn something, than to actually live it. So a big thing that we do is connect students to what we call experiential learning. If you're an engineering student, you will meet other engineers that are already practicing in the field so that you have some context and understanding of what that career pathway may mean for you. If you're in the Honors College, we do a huge study abroad fair because Honors College students are strongly encouraged to study abroad and understand the concept of global citizenship. In addition to those cool activities, we also connect a lot with faculty that can do programs or trips in the area, connecting them to specific goals for their major. So one of the things that I love to highlight, the STEM Living Learning community often does a cookie baking program to understand the science of cookie baking, given that most students in STEM are going to be taking chemistry and classes that are heavily based in the sciences.
Awesome. Well, who doesn't love cookies, right? That sounds like a fun LLC to be a part of.
Exactly.
Neldy, how many LLCs are there actually here at USF?
For this fall, we will have 13 Living Learning communities, and that's about 960 to 1,000 students that live on campus participating in a Living Learning community.
Wonderful. I guess there's a lot for students to choose from, right?
Yes.
Also, we have a viewer named Omar, and this could go to either one of you. And he asks, I have a friend who will be going to the Into USF program this fall. Can students from this program form part of an LLC?
There is always opportunities to create new LLCs. There is a fairly lengthy process, I would say. It's about 18 months it takes. So if there's interest with a student or a student group or or a major, we would certainly encourage them to reach out to Living Learning at usf.edu, along with the academic program that might want to help support that initiative, and communicate with Neldy and her staff to determine whether or not that's something viable.
We also have a viewer named David who wanted to give out a shout out to Dave and Nudie, and he says, Dave and Nudie, hello. And then he asks also, how would I engage with the faculty fellows or faculty and residents in my community?
Definitely. So we have about 26 faculty members that are connected to residential education. 20 of them serve as faculty fellows and 6 of them serve as faculty and residents. A cool way to engage, especially if you're going to be living with us this summer, is that we have 3 cool field trips planned where faculty are going to attend. So annually, every summer term, we do a field trip to the Dali Museum in St. Pete, and we usually bring 3 or 4 faculty members with us to take a tour of the museum and really just engage with students pretty informally. Throughout the academic year, whether you're in a Living Learning community or not, you will be invited to several engagement opportunities with faculty. As I mentioned previously, if you're in a Living Learning community with a faculty fellow or faculty and residents connected to your major, more than likely you will be either organizing a study group with the faculty member, you can also attend a different type of field trip, or plan an event in your community along with that faculty member.
Wonderful. Neldy, can you tell us about the 2 types of Living Learning communities? I heard that they're split up in different categories.
Yeah, so there's 2 different types that we want to encourage students to consider. Academically based, that means they're connected to a very specific major within a college at the University of South Florida. The other aspect is interest-based. So an example of an interest-based Living Learning community may be the American Sign Language Living Learning community. Though that community is connected to our College for Behavioral and Community Sciences, you might be a person who grew up in a deaf family or have a passion for learning American Sign Language. That may not be your major, but we do encourage you to apply as long as you have basic skills in American Sign Language to engage with other students on the floor. Another interest-based community is our Stonewall Suites Living Learning community. Stonewall Suites is a community for any student at the University of South Florida, whether you're a freshman or returning student, or even a transfer student, who identifies as gender non-binary, gender queer, or is connected to the LGBTQ community in any way. We welcome you to live in Stonewall. For our academically based communities, we have pre-nursing. So if you're a pre-nursing major or want to explore career pathways in public health, we welcome you to apply to that one. Along with the engineering Living Learning community, we also have the Honors College, which it means if you're connected to the Honors College, you can be in any major as long as you're an Honors College student to live there. And we also have other ones connected to the College of Education, STEM programs, and a list of, we have 13. So I really encourage you to go on our website and check them out. But that is the core difference. Are you in a major, or are you passionate and want to learn about something?
Wow, there's so many different LLCs, and you've covered a lot in such a short time. How about we take a short break and take a look at some of these videos that cover some of these LLCs. But don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be back right after this.
I work in the Office of Multicultural Affairs, and the LLC that we're involved with is Stonewall Suites, which is our inclusive environment for LGBTQ+ and allied students.
The LLC is open to anyone as long as they identify as either LGBTQ+, or if they identify as an ally of the LGBT community.
So what makes my LLC unique is definitely the people within it. We have so many different people who have so many different walks of life, so many different personalities, so many different careers, but the one thing that ties them all together is we care about queer people.
It's very, very fun. It's very community-based. Everyone there is really, really happy to spend time with each other and very, very open and inviting.
We strategically picked the name, so Stonewall Suites is paying tribute to the Stonewall riots that happened in the 1960s that really kicked off the LGBTQ+ movement.
During the Stonewall riots, it wasn't just queer people out in the streets. It was their straight friends, their allies who were also out there with them, showing that they cared. So even if you're not a queer student, you can still care and you can still want to be involved.
My favorite thing about living in this LLC has got to be the community aspect of it. I've made so many good friends that I never thought I would have made, and it's literally my favorite part of being in USF right now. It's the LLC.
I know that I personally gained confidence because one of my favorite things is that there's no assumptions made about you there.
It's unique in that way, it's special, and the connections that you're gonna make will last a lifetime. Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
The LLC that I participate in is the STEM Living Learning Community. Living in the STEM Living Learning Community gets you connected with faculty and staff that are also in the STEM field, and also you get to participate in events related to the STEM field, so it kind of puts you ahead of all of the other STEM majors. Living in the STEM LLC is basically just being surrounded with people with the same major or career path as you.
Definitely being in the LLC helps me with like homework questions. Like last year, whenever I had a question, I knew that there was somebody in the LLC that had the answer or could help me.
Our LLC is different from all of the other LLCs because we have extremely creative events. Like, for example, we have an event called the Science of Chocolate Chip Cookies. At this event, we get to learn the purpose of the baking soda in cookies, or the purpose of flour and eggs, and how all of those ingredients do their part in creating the perfect cookie.
Learning the science of the cookies with our STEM LLC director, Dr. Pollins, and just eating them in general was with friends, just made the whole experience great.
Research has shown that living in an LLC will increase your academic success. So by this I mean you will most likely have a higher GPA if you live in a STEM Living Learning community. Also, you get to gain connections like with faculty and staff.
The experience is unforgettable, and I'm in my second year. I'm returning for a reason. These experiences have been so memorable that I just want more. And just the activities with the friends I've made just make it a whole lot better. Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jessica Barron, and we're here asking our experts everything regarding LLCs that you need to know. Let's get back into it. So, Dave, how can students apply for campus housing?
Okay. They can just go right to our housing portal and click on the housing applications link, and then submit the application that they're interested in, or the application term that they're interested in applying for, and then complete all the other steps that we've actually gone over.
And Dave, what happens if a student selects a room through the room selection process but is then accepted into an LLC?
Sure. Now, when the student completed their LLC application, they did agree to actually be moved to the LLC once they're admitted. Now, if they're an honors student, they would just go in and do a room change into the honors program, because they can select their own spots in the honors college. But for all other LLCs, what we'll do is we will reach out, either the Academic Initiatives Office or my office, depending on who's doing that assignment. We'll reach out to the student just to confirm they're good with moving, because sometimes they've found the perfect room. And as long as they're okay with that, or if we don't hear back from them and we're getting close to the end of our assignment process, then we'll move them for them.
Wonderful. And we have a viewer named Susanna who asks, where are living and living communities for students in the science field, for example, pre-med, biology, or study abroad? Thank you. Well, Susanna, we actually have a video regarding that, so let's take a short break and show you that video. But don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be back right after this.
Well, my name is Greg Wantz. I'm an academic advisor with the College of Nursing, and I currently am the coordinator for our pre-nursing living learning community. So who could participate in our LLC would be any current active pre-nursing student or public health major student. I think a student would choose to live in the pre-nursing LLC to get that experience, to connect them to not only the faculty and staff from our colleges, but also to gain that experience learning more about their career and kind of making that connection with other students where they'd be able to form those study groups. Day-to-day in the LLC, I'd say most students are very academically focused. They're forming study groups, they're going to classes, and then usually every week we have an event that's catered to them to get that experience within our college and also to get them connected. It feels like home away from home, but also a place where students can really succeed academically within the residence halls, so that way they can meet their goals, not only just their academic goals, but also their social and personal goals as well. So the Pre-Nursing Open House was one of our events that we had over in the College of Nursing, where students had different events where they would be able to go take a tour of our simulation lab, they'd be able to connect with staff and faculty from the College of Nursing, and even learn more about student organizations on campus and how they could get connected outside of the living learning community experience. I think what parents and families should know about the LLC experience is that not only will their students be very involved during their time in the LLC, but that they'll also be having an amazing experience with plenty of events that would get them connected. and knowing that their students will be well watched over during their time in the living learning community.
Welcome back, everyone. Once again, I'm Jessica Barron, and we're here with our experts regarding everything LLCs. We just watched a quick video, and Susanna, I hope you found that very helpful. But we have more information to add to that. So Neldy, could you go ahead and offer some more responses for Susanna?
Sure. So Susanna, you asked, where can a student thinking about going to medical school or even participating in study abroad live within the context of a living learning community? I would strongly encourage your student to live in the STEM living learning community. The STEM living learning community is actually located in one of our nicest suite styles buildings, which is Cypress Suites, and it's home to about 60 students that are planning to go to medical school within the track of STEM. What I love about that community is that our Living Learning Community partner for STEM, Dr. Rick Pollins, was a director for undergraduate research at the university for many, many years and has guided many students through their application process for medical school. So your student can actually be mentored in a medical school trajectory with one of the greatest experts at USF for that particular career path.
Wonderful. Neldy, what else can you tell students that they can gain from being a part of an LLC community?
Sure. So a couple of things that we like to highlight is career readiness. So if you're coming into a living learning community and you have a particular major in mind, what we would like to do is connect you to faculty that can help you formulate a career path that is suited for your life beyond USF. This may include resume workshops, creating an elevator speech, visiting particular career settings, such as Busch Gardens if you're an engineer and you want to learn how a roller coaster was built, or going to the local hospitals as a pre-nursing student to meet current nurses in the area. So one of the greatest benefits is that you will walk out having more experiences connected to your potential career journey than the average student who's not in a living learning community. Additionally, our living learning community program is connected to multiple faculty in residence and faculty fellows that mentor our students. So if you're seeking opportunities for a letter of recommendation or going to graduate school connection to your major, then you have a faculty member who knows you one-on-one because you chose to participate in a living learning community.
Great. Neldy, you actually got a shout out from a viewer named Kara, and she says, "We love Neldy. She transforms residence halls into learning centers." Do you have anything to say to her?
Thank you, Kara. Love you too. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. And remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and send them in to us, and we'll answer you right here on the show. Neldy, let's go ahead and ask some more questions. What types of experiences are unique to all LLCs?
So type of experiences that are unique, I would say the fact that we have in-hall academic advising. If you have thought about coming to college, and you can ask any current college student, one of the most stressful points about being in college is getting an academic advising appointment to ensure that you can register for classes. If you're in a living learning community, your living learning community coordinator is also your academic advisor, and more than likely is your professor for academic foundations. So instead of having to stress trying to get an appointment online or walk into your college, we actually welcome your academic advisor into our hall, into your living learning community, and they will give you an academic advising appointment and help you register for classes right there on the spot.
Wonderful. Neldy and Dave, we might have some students who, are a little nervous about the transition or being a part of an LLC. What advice would you share to incoming students as they prepare for this experience?
To echo something that Neldy said earlier about speaking to people in the field that you're interested in going into. When I was in college a bunch of years ago, I had the opportunity to speak to people. I was an engineering major, and I had the opportunity to speak to engineers. And I learned that it really wasn't something I wanted to do. And so I was able to speak to them early enough and really change my career path. And look, here I am. 25 years working at a higher education instead of being an engineer in some company. And so don't be afraid. Try to join that LLC. And if you join it, be a part of it. Don't just join it to say it's on my resume, because you won't get out of it what it's really designed to do unless you actually participate.
You get out what you put in, right?
Exactly.
Definitely. Something else I would like to add is understanding that, yes, when you're part of a live and learning community, you'll be with other people that have similar interests, but we still want you to be your whole self and be an individual. So sometimes students say, I don't want to be in an LLC because I don't want to be like everybody else. What we love about the Live and Learning Community Program is that you can be who you are and contribute to the Live and Learning community. If you submit an LLC application, that's actually one of the questions that we ask. What do you hope to contribute? And the reason we ask that is because we still want a lot of diversity within the Live and Learning program. We want students to teach and learn from each other. And don't forget, Live and Learning communities are part of our residential experience overall. So if you're looking to become a student leader, yes, you can do that within the Live and Learning community, or you might apply to be in the Residence Hall Association or a hall council. So I don't want people to think that the Live and Learning community is the only thing you're gonna do. It'll connect you to more opportunities on campus, and for sure will ensure that you have a higher GPA than non-LLC students, but you still get to be yourself, engage, attend events, and really formulate your experience on campus in a smaller niche.
Wonderful. Now, do we have a viewer, and this is probably a question for you. The viewer is named Carlos, and they ask, is a business LLC open to international students? Is it diverse? You mentioned diversity a few minutes ago. But
Yes, that's a great question. All of our Live and Learning communities are open to international students. We actually were able to pull data from this current cohort that our Live and Learning communities students on campus represented 13 different countries among the 14 Live and Learning communities that we had this year. I could tell you for a fact that in the Bulls business community, we have a lot of students that come from Central and South America, as well as students that come from Asia and Canada.
Wow, that's really amazing, Neldy. It really shows that, like anybody can be a part of it and really become a family in there.
Definitely.
Neldy, my next question. Who are the professional staff members that live in the residence halls, and how are they there to support the students?
That's a great question, Jessica. So all of our residence hall communities are managed by residence life coordinators, or what the students are going to hear called RLCs. An RLC is a full-time staff member who lives in the community, has their master's, and has committed to working with college students as a career path. So these are the experts in ensuring that our students on campus are well connected, doing well academically, and learning and thriving while they live on our campus. Most importantly, they're also charged with supervising our resident assistants. And resident assistants are student staff members that are there to ensure that students are not getting homesick, they're connecting with each other through different activities, field trips, sometimes they help organize study groups, and ultimately both residence life coordinators and resident assistants are charged with ensuring the safety and well-being of all our 6,200 residential students.
Wow, I'm sure a lot of parents will be happy to hear all about that, right?
Of course, yes.
Neldy, what about an RA? What is an RA and what is their role?
Yeah, so I'll explain a little bit more about that. Our resident assistants are student staff members who also live on campus. There's one student staff member per floor. Our ratio, it's about 35 residents to one RA. And that RA is charged with connecting with students by leading a series of engagement opportunities. Sometimes it's a field trip. Sometimes it's a one-on-one conversation to just really understand who you are and how we can best support you at USF. The RA also serves on what we call duty rounds or on-call to make sure that throughout the community, especially in the early evenings or throughout the night, that there isn't anything happening that may impact students' well-being on campus. RAs are strong academic role models and usually your go-to person if you have a question about how to get connected at USF, how to get involved, or how to make your residential experience even better.
Now, I also hear that faculty members live in the residence halls. Can you share more about why this is so important?
Definitely. So we have a faculty and residence program where we have 6 faculty members that live on campus. Right now, we have faculty members that live in Summit Hall, Horizon Hall, Beta Hall, Maple Hall, Magnolia Apartments, and Juniper Poplar. So these faculty members are there to mentor students that live in those communities and also to serve as program allies where they actually program with us on different events on campus. The number one reason I really encourage students to get to know their faculty member is because usually that is the most impactful relationship you will have during your 4 years in college. Why? Faculty can guide you in your career path. They can write you a really cool and amazing recommendation letter when you're looking to apply for grad school or career. And also, it's someone that you can use as a sounding board as you're either deciding what to major in or deciding what you would want to do beyond USF.
Cool. Neldy, can you give us examples of where some of the LLCs are located on campus?
Definitely. So most of our living learning communities are located in suite-style housing. Specifically, I would like to highlight that we have some LLCs moving next year. So if you're looking to apply to the Bulls Business Community or the Zimmerman Advertising Program, please know that living learning community is going to be at home in Endeavor Hall, which is part of our Village complex. Currently, our Honors College Living Learning Community has been at home in Summit Hall. However, they'll be moving to Juniper Hall, part of the Juniper Poplar Magnolia complex. Most of the other LLCs are either in Maple Hall, which is also suite styles, Cypress Suites, and we have a few in traditional, both in Castor and Beta Hall.
Now, what about if I live in an LLC? Where will my classes be held? Are they inside the residence halls?
It depends which living learning community you are in. If you are a member of the Honors College, the Bulls Business Community, and the Zimmerman Advertising Program, you will at minimum have one class each semester in your residence hall community. The other LLCs may choose to have some classes in the fall or some in the spring in the residence halls, or may choose to just have them, depending on class size, in their academic building.
Wonderful. Thank you for that information, LD. Well, we have so many different LLCs. How about we take another short break and watch a video regarding more of what USF has to offer. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
So I think that any student that's in the engineering major should choose to live in the living learning community, because the engineering classes are extremely difficult, as you'll find out soon enough, and it could be frustrating to try and figure out a homework problem late at night, but when you have students right next door that are in your classes that can help you out, it just makes life so much easier and less stressful. Living in the LLC, it's a lot of fun. It's crazy, but it's a lot of fun. Where all everyone wants to do is just talk or hang out or play games.
It's like a summer camp, but you do work, you know? So there's always something going on every evening when you come back. Like, we're just watching TV, we're playing Wii, or we're hosting study groups. We're sitting together out in the pod, getting work done.
I think it's more of like a family once the semester gets rolling.
Engineering is so broad that you can have people in chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, so many different people coming in. It's so diverse.
My favorite thing living in the LOC is like coming home, because it feels like I'm coming home to a community of people that I really enjoy and like to see every day. They like brighten my day. At the end of it, like if I've had a hard day, I know that I can rely on my friends to be there for me, and it feels like family.
I would say to give the engineering living learning community a try, that you'd be surprised by the experiences and opportunities that would be presented to you.
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
The name of our LLC is the Education LLC.
Anyone who has an interest in entering the profession of education in any way can participate in the College of Education's LLC.
It is a great way to make friends and get connected to the college and meet faculty, staff, professors, and have a great experience.
If you are very passionate, about a subject in your major and you're certain this is what you want to do, there's a whole floor of people that think the same way.
Living in our LLC, you're surrounded by people who are majoring in the same thing you are, and they're interested in the same thing as you, which is helping others, teaching others, and learning from others.
I knew I was going to be on a floor with people that would think similarly to me and have the same end goals of wanting to be able to become a teacher and educate other people and ultimately help people strive to be the best they can be.
Everything we design is really focused on an academic-based outcome. They have higher GPAs on average, and they pass the teacher certification exams at higher rates than students who are not in the LLC. So they'll benefit in so many ways. So many of them say that their greatest memories and strongest friendships stem back to their time in the LLC.
My favorite thing about living in the LLC is the people I have met. My first year I was in the LLC, the second year I was a mentor, and then my third year I am the RA for the LLC, so all the residents I've met have changed my life.
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jessica Barron, and we're here talking to our experts about everything LLCs. Let's go ahead and ask them a few more questions. Neldy, are there any deadlines that students should be aware of when applying for an LLC?
Thank you. That's a great question. We're currently accepting applications and we'll be reviewing applications up to May 15th. Between May 15th and June 1st, we're going to be on a case by case. So the most important thing that you need to know is if you're thinking about applying for a living learning community, you want to submit that application right now. Stop thinking about it. Don't be afraid. It's going to be the best decision that you make if you come to the University of South Florida and want to live on campus.
Neldy, that's wonderful. And we also have a viewer named Omar who has a question for you. How many students form part of the Business LLC? And how many spots are left at the moment?
Hi, Omar. Thank you for watching. So we currently have about 110 spots for the Bulls business community. We're filling pretty quickly, so we only have about 40 spots left. However, by the time that we wrap up the show, the numbers might be different. So please email me at livinglearning@usf.edu, and I'll give you an exact number and can also answer any questions that you have about submitting your application to the Bulls business community.
Now, if there are other students who want to know about any of the other LLCs, where can they find more information about what's available?
Sure. To find more information, you can visit our USF Housing webpage under usf.edu/housing/living learning communities. You can also email me or a member of my team, Brandy Cruz, at livinglearning@usf.edu.
Wonderful. Neldy, are returning residents eligible to participate in an LLC?
Of course, we want them to come back. Please stay connected to your living learning community. If you had an amazing experience as a first-year student, you're going to have an even greater experience as a second-year student. So if you're in, particularly if you're in the Honors College living learning community, Engineering living learning community, ROTC, we really welcome you to come back and take part of our second-year living learning community program at the university.
Wonderful. My next question can be directed to either of you, so please go ahead and add into it. How will participating in an LLC help a resident become more successful or engaged at USF? Neldy, can we start with you?
Yes. So the main thing I wanted to highlight, if we have any parents watching, obviously college is expensive and you want a guarantee of what is my child going to get out of being in a living learning community? Why should they live on campus? Our data numbers show that students in the living learning community have an average of a 3.48 GPA at the end of their first year. That's in comparison to students at the university that do not participate in a living learning community who end up with a 3.25 GPA. So clearly being in a living learning community and taking part of all of the amazing resources that we bring to that program will ensure that your child or student has a higher GPA, therefore better chances of graduating the university in 4 years, and starting their career sooner, and being independent from mom, dad, or whatever parent is helping them. So definitely the greatest benefit is a higher level of academic success.
Great. And Dave?
Just with living on campus in general, students who live on campus, they actually tend to graduate more often than students who have never lived on campus, but more importantly, they graduate faster. So going back to any parents or guardians that are watching that are helping their student pay for college, the faster they're out, the less you have to pay.
Yeah. And you said you were part of an LLC, correct?
Well, back when I went to school, there weren't a lot around. But in my first professional position, I actually was a hall director in charge of an engineering LLC. And I also chaired the committee at that college.
Yeah. And what would you say students got out of it from there? What did you hear?
They got, they had a cohort experience, so they were able to really learn as a group instead of just individually and trying to learn through classes. And they often will have those group experiences. For instance, here the engineering school has a few building teams, I'm going to call them, where they build, whether it's a racing cart, there's actually a commercial somewhere on our website about that, or building robots or what have you. But even when I was a student, our engineering program where I was at, they had that opportunity back then as well. And it was part of the LLC when I was a director for that building. And so that shared experience can really help a student, especially a student who might be struggling a little bit, to get a little bit more confidence by working with maybe their roommate or someone down the hall who's in the same class and having that close proximity to get that help if they may need it. And so that can always be critical for getting that student over the hump and making them feel more confident and have higher self-esteem that I can do this. Because that's some of the biggest challenges, especially for some of our science majors, is if they don't succeed right away, they may get a little less confident in their abilities, and we don't want them to drop out. We want them to succeed, and the LSCs are a great way to do that.
Yeah, that's great advice, Dave. And also, if students have any more questions for you, can you remind people what it is that you do and where they can reach out to you?
Sure, I'm the Associate Director for Operations and Outreach, and I'm available either by email, of course, at housing@usf.edu, or by my direct email account, which is dkloiber, K-L-O-I-B-E-R. So dkloiber @usf.edu. I can also be reached at the housing office by calling 813-974-0001. We're number one. Or, of course, always reach out and look at our website at usf.edu or /housing. Yeah, usf.edu/housing.
And Neldy, what about you? Please remind us what it is that you can do and how people can follow up with you if they have more questions.
Yeah, so again, thank you for having me, Jessica. I oversee our Living Learning program at USF. As I mentioned, it's one of the best things that you can do if you choose to live on campus and be at the University of South Florida. You can reach me via email at livinglearning@usf.edu. You can also email me directly at ncnunez, which is ncnunez@usf.edu. You can call me. My direct line is 813-974-4998, or you can visit us online through the USF Housing webpage, following the usf.edu/housing/living learning communities.
Well, Neldy and Dave, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure having you today.
It's always a pleasure being here.
Thank you. Nice seeing everyone.
Now it's time for some special announcements. Are you interested in living in a living learning community? Well, we still have spots left, but they won't last forever and they will go fast. Explore your options at usf.edu/LLC to find the community that's best for you. If you still have questions, we're here for you. Call us, email us, or drop by our office. We're located on the second floor of the Argos Center, right above the Argos Exchange. Our staff would love to help you in any way that we can assist. Well, that's just about all the time we have, but before we go, I want to remind you that USF Housing Live airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us for our next episode, Pick a Room, Any Room, on Wednesday, May 8th. You can watch at facebook.com/USF Housing, the USF Class of 2023 Facebook group, or in full 1080p high definition at youtube.com/USF Housing. Thank you to tonight's guests, Dave Kloiber and Neldy Nunez, for joining me this afternoon. Thank you to our production crew, to you, our viewers, and of course, there's always just one last thing. Go Bulls!